was whether that policy really was what we claimed it was, a policy of secrecy, or whether it was just a garden variety body of elder letter with just standard instructions that were no different than anything else. The jury found, to the tune of $21 million in punitive damages, that it was a policy of secrecy designed to protect Jehovah's Witnesses and Watchtower, New York from the same kinds of lawsuits and bad publicity that were then striking through the Catholic Church. The timing of the letter, July 1st, 1989, was right after the first scandal in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, within the Catholic Church that got national attention for the secrecy and moving of childhood sexual abusers. The timing was such that the reasonable explanation for this 6-page document was they wanted childhood sex abuse covered up in Jehovah's Witnesses so they didn't end up like the Catholic Church. It was an interesting, again, probably untruth, that this is just a common garden variety letter that talks about privilege and confidentiality of personal information, is no different than any other memo we set up, and what people would know from their common sense and their religious training. Which led us to the question of, okay, why do you have then, at the very end of this instruction body of elder letter, from the governing body itself, do you have a big paragraph saying, keep this absolutely secret, don't make any copies of it, lock it away, and don't let anyone know you got it? Because it was just a garden variety, everyday memo that didn't have anything surprising or new in it. Didn't seem to me, or to 10 members of the jury, that there was any reason that it had to be quiet, secret, confidential, locked up, never copied, and never spoken about in public. And they talked about, well, this isn't really about child abuse, this is about all kinds of different things. But as we went through the letter, and it was several pages, we pointed out that the only specific subject matter addressed in this body of elder letter that had this policy of secrecy was child abuse. Didn't really talk about anything else. And so we knew that what the governing body had tried to do with the help of their legal department and their service department was find a clever, creative way to keep child sex abuse within Jehovah's Witnesses a secret without letting anyone know that's what they were doing in case they got caught. And that's what happened. They tried to keep it a secret, tried not to let anybody know what happened when they got caught. They got caught, and this verdict was the result. So, disfellowshipping, two-witness rule, theocratic warfare, that's all First Amendment stuff. We didn't care about that. Knowing that you have a childhood sexual abuser in your congregation and allowing them to get a second victim in that same congregation, that's where the line was drawn. And it's no different at Penn State, and it's no different anywhere in any institution in the country. And this institution is probably going to need more than one lesson. You know, there's a scene I like to talk about. Candace and I both like old movies, and so all through the trial we would talk about scenes and lines from movies that we thought fit something that was going on in the case. And after the case was over, I thought of Citizen Kane, the famous Orson Welles movie. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, but he plays a kind of a mock-up of William Randolph Hearst. And like the true character, Citizen Kane, runs for governor of New York, and he gets caught in the apartment with a, quote, singer. And he gets caught there by his political opponent, who brings his wife to the door. And Orson Welles, playing Mr. Kane, says, well, I'm not going home with you, and, you know, do your worst, I'm not afraid. And the opponent looks at him and says, you're going to need more than one lesson, and you're going to get more than one lesson. Well, Watchtower is going to need more than one lesson. The Catholic Church sure did. And they're going to get more than one lesson. But it has to be by somebody who has the type of facts that allows us to succeed. Everybody, I think, is Candace's message and mine. Everybody who's been a victim of abuse of any kind with the Jehovah's Witnesses should speak up. It's good for them, and it's good for everyone else. But speaking up in the public, speaking up in a letter, speaking up to your friends, speaking up in a group, speaking up in an organization is different than successfully suing them in court. The folks who can successfully sue them in court are the folks who can establish the criteria of actual notice, the opportunity to do something, and the failure to do it. And that's what we need to find a few more of, because just like the Catholic Church, they're going to need more than one lesson, and just like the Catholic Church, they're going to get more than one lesson. And if we pick and choose carefully around the country, and we use the documents that we got in this case, then I think even the governing body will realize that the price of hiding child sex abuse within their institution is simply too high. And then, and only then, will the kids be protected. That's my message.